Fox News is projecting former President Donald Trump has won the 2024 presidential election.
As of now, Mr. Trump leads Vice President Kamala Harris 51% to 47% with over 69 million votes. Harris has received just over 64 million votes. Of course, they're not all done counting yet. Fox News, though, projecting Trump currently has 277 electoral college votes, while Harris has 226. We want to go to Robert Moses, who is breaking all the numbers down for us and what we know so far. Robert, good morning.
Dan and Tashani, good morning to you. It is a stunning result. Donald Trump will become only the second president to serve two non-consecutive terms following Grover Cleveland in 1884 and 1892. A bitter campaign that saw him convicted of 34 felony counts, as well as an assassination attempt and a change at the top of the Democratic ticket in the span of just 8 days, has now culminated in a triumphant return to the White House.
I want to thank the American people for the extraordinary honor of being elected your 47th president and your 45th president.
Shortly before 2:30 this morning, President-elect Donald Trump spoke to a room full of supporters in West Palm Beach. As the New York Post put it on the cover of today's paper, he's done it again. But he is poised to achieve something he didn't do in 2016 or 2020. That is win the popular vote. He captured the key battleground state of North Carolina, flipped Georgia, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin, and is on the verge of doing the same in Michigan. A race that was projected to be close really wasn't, after all.
We've achieved the most incredible political thing. Look what happened. Is this crazy?
At Howard University in Washington, Vice President Kamala Harris's campaign co-chair, Cedric Richmond, addressed a crowd of her supporters at what they had hoped would be a celebration.
You won't hear from the vice president tonight.
Richmond promised the vice president will speak today. Her supporters began leaving after midnight, some with tears in their eyes. As the votes continue to be tallied, it is already clear that the former and future president outperformed himself, not only in Republican strongholds, but in blue states, too, including here in the tri-state area. Back in West Palm Beach, Senator J.D. Vance thanked his boss.
And I think that we just witnessed the greatest political comeback in the history of the United States of America.
I mentioned how President-elect Trump outperformed his 2020 numbers, even in blue areas. Let's put a finer point on that. In 2020, he lost New Jersey by about 16 points. This year, he lost New Jersey by about 5 points. In 2020, he lost New York by 23 points. This year, just 11 points. So even in areas that he lost, in a sense, he won. Dan?
More to come for sure, Robert. We'll be tracking those numbers throughout the rest of this morning. Thank you very much.